Hey, what is up, everybody? This is the Comic.Assassin, and welcome to another one of our episodes where we're going to talk about comic book news, what came out last week, and what you might want to be looking out for this week to come on New Comic Book Day, this upcoming Wednesday. First off, I want to give just a little bit of a thank you for everybody who has watched these videos and or subscribed. I've always told myself I wasn't going to be one of those YouTubers who constantly was like, oh, please click subscribe, like, blah, blah, blah. I would like for you to leave comments just to have a conversation, but other than that, I don't want to, you already know how to use YouTube, alright? But thank you so much for everybody who has either watched or subscribed so far. Thank you so much. It means a lot. There's not a lot in the news, and I think a lot is because San Diego Comic-Con is about to happen in 2 weeks. So they're probably holding tight on some of the major news. But with that said, Stranger Things just came out. So if you've been able to read any comic books while trying to binge watch Stranger Things, then good for you. I know my daughter, she came out 2 o'clock in the morning after the first day it came out. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I just got done watching Stranger Things. I was like, all right, I can't blame you there. All right. Spidey Far From Home is doing great. I think right now it's over 580 million globally, which has exceeded its expectations at this time, whereas Dark Phoenix has bombed even more. I think they're estimating that Dark Phoenix will do worse than Fantastic Four the reboot. Alright, and I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. Other than that, there's not a lot of news. I know there's a rumor that in the upcoming Stargirl TV show, which is from DC, it's rumored that the original Green Lantern will make an appearance. So, first off, if you're a Stargirl fan, you might be excited about the show, but if you're a Green Lantern fan, you might be excited that he might get a TV appearance, and who knows where that will lead. Okay? It's a rumor. Okay, it hasn't been verified, but it might come to fruition, alright? Other than that, the other news is really kind of controversial, alright? We have C.B. Cebulski, who is the editor-in-chief at Marvel, and first off, I'm going to give an FU recognition to Bleeding Stool, which is a comic book news source you can find online. They ran this story, they brought it to light even though it was on Twitter. And the way they did it was very agenda driven, and I didn't really like that. But basically, C.C. Cebulski made a comment about how he felt a lot of new up-and-coming Marvel writers were trying to put too much stuff into their issues, and it kind of drowned out the message. And he got a lot of backlash about it. Alright, people were calling him out, according to this article, and I even checked out the Twitter account. They were calling him out, talking about how Marvel has shady hiring practices, how they don't treat the writers right. They even called him out because he did have so C.C. Cebulski did do some writing under a pseudonym, Akira Yoshida. And people were like, oh, dude, you faked to be Japanese all those years. Which, first off, he did live in Japan. He lived in Japan for like over 20 years. Alright? So it was kind of, even though he was an American, it kind of was a part of his culture. Now, was it kind of shady because he did it to go around some policies? That's a whole nother issue, okay? But people came at him strong and were hating on him. Whereas the whole time, what was not reported is that he was actually responding to another tweet that was done by Kurt Busiek, who did a lot of the original Avengers stuff. And his original tweet was that, hey, I kind of wish that I didn't cram pack so many characters into my Avengers stories. And so he was just making a comment, and it kind of lit up on Twitter, alright? It really did. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can go check that online. It's still there. The other news, and this is also controversial, alright? And this just comes down to, once again, some of the agenda-driven things, or maybe not agenda-driven things. Do you remember the movie The Mask? I do. I love The Mask. You know, Cube and Pete. You know, I loved it. I loved that movie. The first one. Second one sucked. All right, but they're talking about possibly doing a new Mask movie, but they're wanting to do a female lead. And this is going to kind of tie into some of the stuff I'm going to talk about here in a minute. First off, I have no problem with that. I'm not going to watch it because I don't really see why I would want to go watch another Mask movie unless it had possibly Jim Carrey coming in and maybe doing like a Return of the Mask, blah, blah, blah. But thinking that you have to have a female lead in there just to make it more new to the times seems kind of agenda driven. Like really? Like, it might work, but I don't know. But the next one is the casting of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. So I'm sure some of y'all have heard about this. They have casted an African American actress, Haley Bailey. I always want to say Halle Berry, but it's Haley Bailey, to play Ariel. And some people are really ticked off about this, and some people are super defensive about this. This is my take on the whole thing, okay? I have no problem with this move, okay? I mean, she seems like she's an attractive lady. She seems like a good actress, and she might do a good job. But I want people to take the time out and actually understand some of the dynamics here. When they were changing Nick Fury to be black, at first I was like, what's going on? Nick Fury's not black. Alright? And it wasn't from a racist point of view. That was just from somebody who has understood and known about these characters for years, sometimes even decades. Okay? Now, honestly, I think the move they did with Nick Fury was spot on. Samuel L. Jackson did a great job. Domino in Deadpool 2. At first, I was like, how are they going to do it? Because Domino is iconically white-faced with the black patch, and they chose the opposite. At first, I didn't know what to think about that. But the actress did a great job. All right? So just because someone is not liking these kind of choices doesn't always make them a racist or a bigot. Okay? They just might have enjoyed these characters for decades. Alright? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, there are going to be racist people. Don't get me wrong. And don't go trolling this actress and giving her crap for getting a job as playing Ariel. Like, that's not cool. Don't be a douchebag. Alright? But at the same time, on the other side of the playing field, please understand, these are characters that people have loved for years and years. And then when you flip the script like that, it's going to put a lot of people off. All right? Sometimes it has nothing to do with race. It has something to do with you're changing something fundamental about the characters they love. Look at Spidey, the new Spidey movies. Honestly, I'm not a fan of how they're doing the new MJ, how they're doing Flash, because I always think of MJ as being the redhead white girl. I'm sorry. And Flash, I don't think of him as someone who has possibly an Indian ethnicity. Okay? Doesn't make me a bigot. That just makes me someone who appreciated these characters for what they were, me growing up. Okay? Now, I will say, all those actors, those kids, they do a wonderful job. I don't go boycott the movies. But please keep that in mind. So, that's my little rant for right now. Let's talk about what came out last week. So, I will start off with the two books that I actually did a review on. I did a review on Test Number 1. This came out last week. And we also did Sea of Stars number 1. Now, if you're interested in what I thought about these books, you can please go check out the video I dropped on, I think, last Friday, in which I go a little bit more in depth about what's going on in these storylines. For DC, I did pick up Deceased number 3. I will say, at first, and I say it was a punk move to charge an extra $1 for the card stock, but I saw a lot of damage for these card stocks. All right, and these aren't things that you can just easily press out. So hopefully there'll be a lot more care taken care of when it comes to these card stocks. But once again, I did get the Matina cover, and it's a good looking cover, and it's a decent story. Going back with DC, Deathstroke number 45. Now this is one where apparently we get a new Deathstroke here, alright? And I was confused the whole time. Because apparently the people who are doing the artwork don't know how to make a woman look like a woman. Because Deathstroke's daughter, Rose Wilson, is now Deathstroke. But honestly, I was so confused until the very end. I was like, they keep on saying Rose. I was like, oh, do they mean Rose is the new Deathstroke? Because honestly, I do not see a female. Like, they had no female persona whatsoever with the artwork. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a decent read, but the artwork was, can you not make it a little bit more obvious? I did get Immortal Hulk, number 20. Once again, another beautiful Alex Ross cover. I ended up reading this too. It's interesting. I think we'll see how it pans out. To me, the Immortal Hulk is kind of somewhat going downhill when it comes to the edge that they used to have. But it's still a good story. I still say pick it up, because who knows what's going to happen. Alright, let's see. The other one, and this is the big one for me, this was probably the top book, this is the one that gets the most news, is The Walking Dead 193. It is the end of Walking Dead. I mentioned this too in my comic book review. I didn't go into detail, and I won't go into too much detail today. But I'm gonna break up a point, a very good point. A big kudos to Image and The Walking Dead for making this big book. Look, that's a big, thick book. All right, a lot of story in there for $3.99 regular cover price. And keep that in mind, because I'm about to call Marvel out. I'm about to call Marvel out for some of the stuff that they're doing, because they're doing some punk stuff, alright? Love the story. I thought it was very good. And so those are some of my pickups from last week. Now, what's coming out this week? So first off, when it comes to Dark Horse, there's only one book that really comes to my mind, and that's the Black Hammer, the Justice League, Hammer of Justice number 1 coming out. It's kind of a crossover between Black Hammer and some of the DC characters, Justice League coming together. Jeff Lemire does a really good job. It might be a book you want to check out. For DC, I like the Catwoman number 13, the Art Germ cardstock, because I think that's just a beautiful cover. So that might be one on your radar. But my two winners for DC this week are Batman 74, because they're ending the story arc. We're finally going to get the reveal of who's inside the coffin that Batman's been dragging through the desert this whole time. But one of my bigger winners is Naomi number 6. And basically because the story is ending. Alright, we're supposed to get some big reveals about the origin of Naomi. Naomi has been a hot character. A lot of her first few issues have gone to second, third, and fourth prints. I've done really well in the secondary market. It's toned down now, but we get some reveals with this final issue. So Naomi 6 is one of my top picks for DC. Now for Image, if you're a Bitter Root fan, we do have a Bitter Root Red Summer Special one-shot that comes out this week. You might want to check that out. But my two winners for Image is Unearthed number 1. It's a Cullen Bunn book. Cullen Bunn does some fantastic work. And it might be interesting and it might get your attention. But the one I'm really interested in, and actually it's maybe my pick of the week, is Reaver number 1. I enjoyed the synopsis a lot. It's kind of like almost Suicide Squad-ish, where you take your worst people and you bring them in to battle something. But it seems like a really good story. I'm kind of excited about Reaver number 1. For some of the indie books, we have Second Coming number 1 coming out. This is the one book that was so controversial, it got petitioned, or there's a lot of slack. I think it was supposed to come out originally for DC, and because of such the heat, they chose not to, and Ahoy Comics picked it up. It's about the second coming of Jesus. It might be one you want to pick up. Personally, that's not my forte, so I'm probably not going to pick it up, but it's one that maybe should be on your radar, especially if you're looking to secondary market kind of stuff. From Antarctic Press, we have, was it Strong Box, the Big Bad Book of Boom. All right. This actually looks like an interesting book, had a good synopsis, and so that's one of my indie picks. And there's also Watch Dogs #1, which, honestly, after I read the synopsis, I wasn't drawn into it, but it's already sold out on Midtown. So this might be one that if you want to get, if you see it at your LCS, pick it up, because you're probably not going to have much luck on the secondary market for this one, okay? Now going to Marvel. Oh, Marvel, I love you, but I hate you at the same time. Marvel will make you go bankrupt this week. All right, there are so many books that came out with such high price tags. I don't see how they expect you to buy all that you want, okay? There's a lot of different books, like Invisible Woman #1 comes out. I could leave it, to be honest with you. We do have the Wolverine versus Blade #1. That's interesting. The artwork looks fantastic in it, but also has like a $6 price tag on it, like a $5.99 or something like that, which is a little outrageous, but that might be one you want to pick up. True Believer. Now, this is one good thing about Marvel. They're doing True Believers, Amazing Spider-Man 361, which is the first appearance of Carnage. So for $1, you can't go wrong there. All right, so that's a little saving grace for Marvel this week. But then we have Venom 16. Honestly, I think a lot of the heat behind Venom has kind of gone down. The one reason why I mentioned this book is the one thing in the cover that I really like, that if you look at Eddie Brock and the glass that he's drinking out of, you get a little picture of Carnage in there. So it gives you a little bit of a hint of things to come, which I thought was kind of cool. All right. But my two picks of the week, and they both go out to Spidey. First off, I'm going to say Symbiote Spider-Man #4, because this has been a great series. I've loved it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. But my next pick is Amazing Spider-Man 25. And basically because we might get the full reveal of who this character Kindred is. Kindred is the guy who's been there pretty much from this whole series. The whole series has actually been really good. It's one of the best Spider-Man runs I've read in a long time. But Kindred kind of almost looks sleepwalker-ish. All right, he's got that sleepwalker look to him. And he revealed last issue that his alias was Kindred. We might get the reveal of who he is. It's a bigger book. But this is a punk move, all right? And I'm going to go back to this. Marvel, all right? Look what Image did with that for $3.99. They got a price tag of $7.99 for Amazing Spider-Man 25. I'm still going to pick it up because I want to read it, but man, that is a punk move. Like really? You're going to charge us $7.99 for that just because you made it a little bit larger? And that, to me, that's a Marvel punk move. This is nothing new. They've done it in the past. But man, it really pisses me off. When I got to go in a comic book shop to get a book that I want and see a $7.99 price tag on it, that's a punk move, man. Like, I'm not cool with it. It is one of my Marvel picks of the week, so I'm being somewhat hypocritical here. I understand that. All right, but I want to read the story. I don't want to pay an arm and leg to do so. All right? But also, here's my joke of the week. And this also goes to Amazing Spider-Man 25. All right? There's seven different regular covers that you can get. And that doesn't include the incentive variants, the ones you can get from specialized shops and all that. But the Amazing Spider-Man 25 Carnageized cover is my joke of the week. Now, I appreciate the concept of the cover where it's MJ looking in the mirror, you have Peter in the back, but man, that is the worst MJ Carnage job I think you could do. I mean, it's just too busy. The hair's all doing stuff. Like, I love some Carnage. All right, don't get me wrong. But to me, when I saw that cover, that was a laughing stock. And go with cover A. Or if there's another cover that you like, get it. That's one that I would pass on all day of the week, y'all. All right, with that being said, and here's another thing. I'm actually leaving town to go on to a conference for work Wednesday morning. So I might not be able to get all the books I want to get. So I'm going to go to my local comic book shop, have a conversation with them, and see if they can pull some of the books that I want behind. That's what's the upside of having a relationship with the local comic book shop. But I hope I get them. All right, I really do. But please let me know what you think about these picks. What you like about them, what you don't like about them, what we should be reading, what we should be picking out. I would love to hear some of your comments, okay? But with that being said, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this episode. And like always, happy hunting.